Meeting of the year of the Y 2024-25 meeting of the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. I now officially call this commission meeting to order. That's kind of a weak hit. There we go. There we go. A little stronger. If you would, please all join me, if you would, as Chaplain Tamara Gore comes to offer us a prayer, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Gore.
Would you pray with me, please? Father God, I just come to you this morning. First of all, I just want to thank you for the refreshing rain we've had and the cooler temperatures. Father, but again, I want to ask you to just take care of the ones that have gone through so much of the flooding and so much of the hurt and the loss. Just be with them as they try to recover today. Father, I thank you for this commission meeting. I pray for the commissioners as they're going about the work that they need to look into today for the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. Father, I thank you for all the departments that are represented here, for all the ones that are out in the field, for all the ones that have been out in the hot earlier this summer, and that with hot still coming, I just pray that you would just be with each one of them as they're out there and just give them direction and give them safety as they're out there. Be with our enforcement as they're out there today or wherever they are. Father, I just, again, thank you for hearing our prayers. There's many in this room that I know you've walked with through many situations, and I thank you for walking with each one of us and guiding us and directing us. And I pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, again, good morning. We have several guests with us this morning. He's really no guest of ours, but Wildman Wilson's back there in the back and part of our family. Wildman, welcome. We have several interns with our Arkansas Game and Fish Commission with us. If y'all are here, just raise your hand. If you're an intern, welcome. Look forward. I think some of y'all are going to be doing some presentations here in a little bit. We have, of course, our Arkansas Game and Fish Foundation folks. Brian Hendricks back in the back. Welcome, Brian, our with the Democrat Gazette. We've got our newest commissioner wife, Ashley Caldwell, and Harley Cardwell. Welcome, and then we have my wife, Beth Neely, is with us as well, and lastly we have Blake Edmonds is with us. Well, the Blake. Well, welcome everybody for our guests. Our first matter is an approval of today's agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to this agenda as presented?
Move to approve.
All right, got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All opposed? All in favor? Aye. Motion's carried. Next, we need an approval of the official committee meeting notes from June 20th, 2024. Are there any additions or deletions to these notes? All right. Motion from Commissioner Tappan and second from Commissioner Finley. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion's approved. Next, we're going to move into some staff presentations. And I think right now is the time for these interns. Mary Beth's going to introduce our interns.
Good morning, Commissioners, Chairman, Director Booth. Thank you so much for having us today. This morning you are going to hear from 3 of our summer interns. I'm super excited for them to present to you. It's kind of the only presentation that's happening today. We had a good long day yesterday of great presentations. I learned a lot. It was very enjoyable, but I am glad today's going to be a little bit shorter. No offense. But I want to share just a little bit about our summer intern program. So this is for our students at the college level that are entering their junior year or their senior year. We had 21 interns this summer placed all around the state. You're actually going to also hear from one of our Hutton interns. So we had 3 of those. That's our high school internship program that's in partnership with the Fisheries Division. Excuse me. But one thing I want to recognize today, since you'll be hearing from 3 of our interns, is actually our mentors. And in partnership with this, and to make this actually successful, we have to have staff who sign up and say, yes, I will take an intern. They don't get paid anything extra. They don't get any extra stipends or anything like that for taking on these interns. But I think you all know this is quite an extra job, because there is someone who is literally beside you every single day for about 8 weeks. You turn and they're there, and you turn and they're there. And they're supposed to be. They're learning from what we hope is the best of the best in our agency. So if you're a mentor, will you please stand up? And 3 of our interns that are going to share today have 3 incredible mentors. And I just, first we have Peyton Duggar. I know he's going to recognize his mentor. He's going to share from the Communications Division. This isn't someone that you would consider out in the field all the time, right? But an incredibly important division in our agency. So I'm very excited for you to hear his presentation. We have Mr. Daniel Franklin, who's right here in Little Rock. He's our Hutton intern, one of our high school interns. Miss Lauren Marshall is his mentor. And then we have Jackson Brown. He's going to be our final intern presentation today, and Mr. Alex Lane is his mentor. So I'll let you guys take over. Peyton, if you want to come on up.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, Commissioners, and Director Booth. It's good to see you all this morning. Hope all is well. My name is Peyton Duggar, and currently I am a senior at Arkansas State University. Go Red Wolves. I interned with the Communications Division this summer for about 8 weeks, and it was a very pleasurable experience. So first, I just kind of want to get into my expectations going into this internship and what that kind of looked like. One of my really big goals was to have firsthand learning experience with each role in the division, and work really closely with each of them, them being web design, graphic design, data analytics, things like that. I just wanted to work as closely as I could with each of them, even though my supervisor is Lauren Weston. So that was one of my goals. Another one of my goals was networking within the AGFC. I wanted to talk to as many people as I could, because it will take you a long ways in life. And then also I wanted to see a very productive work environment. And for this agency to work the way it does, it has to have that. So it was very cool to see that happen over the summer. And then lastly, I just kind of wanted to get a broader understanding of issues within the AGFC. I'm kind of part of the general public, I would say. So I don't really have a really big understanding of them, but this summer gave me the opportunity to really hone in on the key things that AGFC is tackling. So what did I really do for my division? I did a lot, and I got exposed to a lot of different things. The first thing being the project management process. Ms. Cody Cranks is the communications project manager, and she does a great job at her job. And what a project manager is, it's basically the streamline of work from one end to the other. They make sure work gets done. They make sure the team is working on priority work, and mainly they're just there for support if they ever need it. And then also I was very involved in all the marketing strategies that we used throughout the summer for A&S and for the CIP program, and also for dove permit hunts. And so I was very involved with the strategy and just all the data that we had to get the numbers and things like that. And then lastly, just anything that the creative team needed, whether it was from lifting really heavy boxes to laminating papers to working on spreadsheets, I was there to help with whatever they needed. So some of my newly acquired skills, was a big deal for me. The first one was web design. I've never got to work on designing web pages before, and this summer gave me a really good opportunity to understand what all goes into it, and how to make new ones, how to edit current pages, things like that. One really important thing that I learned is data analysis. Programs like Sprout and Facebook really gave me an eye-opening experience on how much information is out there, not only about our target audience, but how to find that target audience and what that kind of looks like. I helped in multiple social media posts and campaigns, as well as a photo shoot that we did at Whit Stevens Nature Center. That was also a very good experience for me to learn, because I've never been on a photo shoot. I've never seen what that looks like. So it was just a very good experience. Also, I got to work with Mr. Zellers and Mr. Jim over there at the other side of the communications department with the Sportfish ID book. The agency's current one's a little outdated, so we worked on getting that up to par. I worked on multiple fishing reports with Jim, which was very interesting, and also the Aquatic Nuisance Species Pocketbook. And lastly, I got to mention him just because he's the backbone of the agency. I worked with Scotty over in the print shop a lot this summer, and you would never guess how much it takes to run a print shop, and the fact that he does it alone is astounding. So that was basically all the skills that I gained over this summer. I got pretty much everything that I wanted out of this. But now I'm just going to talk about what I did in the field. This is kind of speaking for all the interns here. We all kind of did the same thing. First, we all went to the juniors trap state championship, and I specifically did R3, which is retention, reactivation, and recruitment, which is a really big thing in the agency, because we want to keep the relationships that we have, and we want to create new ones, and we want to spark up old relationships that might have been with the agency in the past. We also picked up trash at Lake Conway. That's a 5-year plan going on out there right now. And one thing that I really took away from that, and my favorite part of that experience, was listening to Nick Feltz talk for about 15 or 20 minutes during lunch, and just basically laying out the entire 5-year plan for us and letting us know why we're doing the things we're doing, and just giving us the reasons why. And even neighbors from houses that were right by us, they came out and listened to the entire thing. So he did a really good job about that, and it was really rewarding to clean up a place that I fished a lot growing up. And then lastly, I got to go goose banding with Brett Leach, and that is a completely different animal in itself. If you can go goose banding, I do recommend it. You will like it by the end of the day. The drive home might stink a little, but besides that, you'll be good. And that's pretty much just all my field work. I didn't get to do much, but the stuff I did get to do was very beneficial for me. And just lastly, these are my takeaways. I improved communication and teamwork. In the communications division, you got to have that for that to work. They're all constantly working together, constantly communicating on and collaborating on multiple projects. And I also experienced a real impact from our community, just real good engagement from whether it was curio screens that we redesigned for Whit Stevens, or it was the newsletter, people talking about the newsletter, stuff like that. It was really cool to see that what we were doing actually had a change and had an impact on some people. And also, this internship inspired me to pursue a career in marketing or advocacy for conservation. It really opened my eyes. I told my dad at the first of the summer, I don't know if I would take a job with the Game and Fish, but now I 100% would definitely take a job with the Game and Fish. And lastly, I just gained a lot of good experience with tools and platforms just to advocate for anything that I can take anywhere else in the world. And it was just a very well-rounded experience. And I also just wanted to say a special thank you to the agency for letting me have this opportunity, and also a special thank you to the 6 ladies in communications, Brittany, Verity, Greta, Kristen, Warren, and Cody. Y'all were great and had a great summer, and thank you.
Peyton, that was very smooth. You obviously got that from your mom's side. I know it.
I could ask you a quick question, Peyton. As you had a little insight to the agency. Hopefully, you weren't scoring everybody at the agency based on your dad, but possibly you were. But let me ask you: when you had somewhat of an outside perspective, when you came in, tell me something that you learned that you'll be able to take that and carry into your career.
So one thing that I learned that the agency, or one thing that I really did learn about the real world versus the agency, is that the real world is worried about money, constantly generating profit, things of that nature. But what the agency is involved with and is about is completely different and is a lot better, in my opinion. They're just about relaying the information that is needed to the public, and making sure that whatever needs that wildlife and habitat have, that they will fulfill. So I'll just take the aspect of working for a greater thing, like we're all working towards conservation. So having that big picture will really help me going forward.
Well, let me brag on you just a minute, and I don't know if your dad's in here or not. Is he in here?
He's not.
Is he the nervous father
He
out there
missed
pacing
it.
the hallway? I can understand. He shouldn't be. It's not lost on me. It has nothing to do with your age. You're a unique individual in itself in that you, young or old. I mean, I have a number of folks that'll come and stay, and you and your dad came up to fish one weekend. And I'll never forget, because you may think this is kind of the norm because it's your upbringing and your mom and dad have done a tremendous job raising you. But it was a week later after they left, I got the nicest handwritten card from this gentleman right here who didn't really know me at the time except just on the phone a little bit. But a very heartfelt, appreciative card. And it didn't say, hey, thanks for letting me stay. It went down and talked about the memory that he and his dad had the opportunity to make. Which, if you know anything about people who up on that's all we really care about. It's not about the commerce or the money, but that right there is worth $1 million. When you can have a young person connect with their parents, on the river fishing or whatever, and it's never lost on me that's the kind of person you are, not the kind of young person, because there's a lot of old people that don't do that. So take that wherever you go, keep that skill set. Keep that always, because it's more meaningful than you'll probably ever know.
I appreciate that, Mr.
You're
Rock.
welcome.
Any other questions?
Who's the better fisherman, you or your dad?
Fly or like bait caster?
Just straight out fishing, bass fishing.
I would just go with my dad just because he's done it. He's got about 20-some years on me, but once I get up there, I'll probably be up to his par.
Oh, good answer. Well, thank you,
Yes, sir.
Peyton.
Thank y'all.
Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, chairman, vice chairman, and director, and good morning, guests. My name is Daniel Franklin from the Central Arkansas Nature Center. And I am here to represent Hutton scholars throughout the state of Arkansas. The Hutton Fisheries Internship Program is one that is organized and funded by the American Fisheries Society. They select applicants who apply in January, and they partner them with local wildlife and fisheries agencies in their state. In Arkansas, we have got 5 Hutton scholars, 3 of which are pictured here. 4 of us work at nature centers, and 1 of us works at the Lone Oak Hatchery. Across the board, Hutton scholars receive a $3,000 stipend funded by the American Fisheries Society. And to receive that, we are required to work 256 hours during our summer. Generously provided by the American Fisheries Society is an all-expenses-paid summit to Georgia, where 2 of our Hutton scholars currently are. The experience varies from each Hutton scholar, depending on where they work and whom they work with, but I'll speak to mine as it should be similar. Fisheries are a focal point of the Hutton Fisheries program, as per the name. And within my first 2 weeks, I visited the Lone Oak Hatchery, helping out with a fishing camp, and I was able to learn a lot about fisheries. I was able to talk to the professionals there, see what a hatchery does and how that really benefits our state. Learning from professionals is one of the most beneficial and unique things I found coming into this program as a high school student who didn't know much about an agency, but working with a mentor, which the Hutton scholars each have, who's an expert in wildlife or fisheries science. Having that mentor there creates a really close, connected environment where you've got an expert who can help you and gives you the professional instruction and guidance you need to execute well the projects and assignments you've been given throughout your summer. For me, being at the Central Arkansas Nature Center, those assignments and projects looked like educating the public. I was asked to create several presentations to give to school groups and the public as they came through our center. I gave some on ecosystems, habitats, and mammals. and additionally was given the opportunity to do my own research and create a temporary glass case display for our nature center. Fishing camps were a large part of my internship, and I was able to learn how to educate on a mass scale to lots of children, the youth of Arkansas, and really teach them how they can use and utilize, take advantage of the aquatic resources they have here for them to use. The future impact of the Hutton Scholarship Program is broad and has already been successful, as 2 of our Hutton scholars are going on to receive or begin their education in college this August in marine biology, and others plan to pursue degrees in fish science and related wildlife subjects after they graduate high school. It's created passion. It's created a desire to educate for the public, to show them what Game and Fish has to offer and how great our natural state is. It also gives us a drive to continue researching and exploring what we have here and how we can give that back to the public. And on a baseline, it gave all Hutton scholars experience in the field that as they go on and choose to pursue this sort of career, they've gotten their first step into a wildlife and fishery sciences area. So thank you to the American Fisheries Society for organizing and funding this program, and thank you to Arkansas Game and Fish for hosting us. Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question. Great
Yes.
presentation, first off.
Thank you.
What was your favorite part of the whole internship in Game and Fish? What are your takeaways?
I'm really interested in marine biology and marine science, and being in Arkansas, there's not a lot of opportunity. I also didn't grow up being a super outdoorsy kid, but this really pushed me. Like, I did all sorts of things. Now I got my boater ed card, fishing license, did all sorts of things that really pushed me outside of my normal comfort zone, banding geese, which was mentioned earlier, very outside of the comfort zone, but I really like it. And so since I'm interested in fish, being at the Nature Center with all our aquariums, I really enjoyed practicing animal husbandry. We introduced like 16 new trout to our tanks, getting to see that process, seeing the hatchery, seeing how all the fish and people work together to present that to the public. That was probably my favorite part. So.
Wonderful. Well, we have a brand new hatchery under construction for over in Lone Oak, so I imagine there will be some career opportunities in the future.
Probably. No?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes, thank you.
Daniel, I have a question. A wonderful presentation by you and Peyton. I'm so impressed with your presentation skills. So you've been in our nature center, spent a lot of time there this summer. You see the enormous investment and just how well equipped those facilities are. They tell the story of Game and Fish so wonderfully. What would be your advice to increase traffic, particularly among your age group, and trying to connect with more youth for the future?
That's a very good question. I think in order to get more like teenagers and high school people into the Nature Center, you'd have to focus on where they are and what they're looking at most, which would probably be the internet. I don't know if we do like ads online, but if we do like on social media or something like that, that'd be great. As well as schools, going into high schools and presenting information. Not sure how much of that we already do. I know I was not super aware of all the amazing things that we have to offer, and I was really surprised by the sheer amount of programs and educational opportunities we had down there. But I think you just need to find where the youth is looking and go there.
Great presentation. Again, thank you, Daniel, and all of our interns. All right, now next, Director Booth, we have time ready for your report. Oh, I'm sorry. I've rushed the show here.
Yeah.
Hold tight, Director Booth.
So sorry. We have one more, and I'll take this moment since I had to run up here anyways and stop you. I also want to say that yesterday we had a finale event. Ms. Erica Manis in HR, Ms. Jana Highland have been phenomenal in working with our interns and making sure that that is all functioning properly internally. But they had a finale event at the Jacksonville Range, a morning of presentations from all 21 interns, and then some trap shooting, some archery, and some fishing there. All of those activities activities were ran by AGFC staff as well. So thank you, HR team, and the rest of the staff that helped with that event.
All right, so I'll wrap us up. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chairman, Vice Chairman, Commissioners, and Mr. Director. My name is Jackson Brown, and I was a Region 7 Wildlife Management Division intern out of Ed Gordon and Gallic Creek. Sweet. So for our internship, most of us had projects. For mine was to build a swim-in wood duck trap for wood duck banding. And what that essentially looks like is imagine a circle with one end kind of funneled in on itself, and that's what brings them in, and then hopefully they can't get out. And to me and how I understood it, it's a very passive form of banding when you compare it to rocket netting, which I'll talk about later. And I call it passive because this is something that you set the night before and then check early in the morning. This is to reduce risk of mainly raccoons, but other mesopredators from getting in there and getting your ducks. And it's simple, and it doesn't have a lot of parts. You can see in the left two pictures there, that is the bait platform, that is that square floating in the water. In our case, we use wheat. And then on top is, bird netting just to keep them in. And again, on the right, you can see a duck that is stuck. And the most important part of it and what considers the trap set is the door. The door is on the back of the trap. That is something that when it's open, they can go in and out and they're not stuck in there, again, to reduce, loss of ducks. But when it's set, you have to make sure you're there. You make sure you get to them and you fish them out with a dip net and put a band on them, and you're good. Looking forward, there wasn't a whole lot of time in the 8 weeks to do it. Wood ducks are just now starting to come in. And this is also a swimming trap is new to Ed Gordon, and Gallic Creek. So it's going to take a lot of figuring out, how to use it, when to use it, where to use it. A lot of what we were doing at the end was prepping these sites to use them. So at the beginning of the internship, we received a rough schedule of what we were going to do, and my schedule consisted of irrigating. So it's a very important part of what we do, and if you know, Ed Gordon's got a lot of moist soil units. These are basically places that provide duck habitat, and they emphasize the growth of native species, so pinkweed, springletop, barnyard grass. So it's important for them, but also benefits a whole other list of wildlife. Going out there, you can see turkey. We saw a bunch of turkey poults, deer, wading shorebirds, migratory shorebirds, and so on. And up there, the green is called polypipe. It's kind of a tarp-like material you go through and poke to put water back on the unit, because who knew a moist soil unit needed moisture. And at the bottom, you can see that is our case tractor with a stubble roller on the back that you can't see. That's how we used to, disturb the dirt and rather than disking. And I think that picture's cool because you can see a great egret right there, which kind of hammers that point home of its importance for wildlife. And on the right there is one of our units called Willow Hole after we, during a drawdown. And so arguably my favorite part of the whole internship was waterfowl banding. Not only did I get to use what I learned in school, but also just getting that hands-on experience was far greater than anything I could ever learn. And on the left there, you can see that is what a rocket net looks like after it has been fired. And that's roughly 39 wood ducks caught in that. So what that process looks like is, once you fire, you go through, you grab those ducks, put them in a crate, bring them over to wherever you're going to band them, fish them out, sex them, age them, and then put a band on them, let them go. So in this case, on the upper middle, you can see that it was what we called a hatchier female. So you put a band on them, let them go, watch them, make sure they're okay. And at the bottom there, you can see that's what a rocket net site looks like. We try to get it flat and ready to go so the net can't get caught up in anything. And then, that's what that looks like. And then on the right there is, the common theme yesterday that everybody said was goose banding was my favorite. Goose banding was my life for about 2 or 3 weeks, doing it every day, coming home smelly. I didn't want to go anywhere. I want to go home and sleep. It takes a lot out of you, and it's a cool experience. There's nothing like looking down and seeing 70 geese looking right back at you, which they're either going to be fine or they're going to fight you to death. So it's an experience, and again, if you can go out there and experience that, it's a great experience and really hammers home of some of the things that we do. And then I was in a really cool spot being at Ed Gordon and Gallic Creek because we got to do a whole lot of things. I wasn't doing one thing. I was doing a lot of things, wearing a lot of different hats. So on the left there, you can see we were doing a spraying, applying herbicide. We're doing this to prep our summer burn units for the growing season. So, going through and reducing, woody density, going through and snagging pine trees, just getting it ready to burn here soon. In the middle, that is one of the second things I did in the internship. That was a quail survey. So that's waking up really early in the morning, getting out there before the sun's up, driving out there in pitch dark. It's scarier than it sounds. And getting out there and just listening for them, and, which is really cool because I've always loved quail, so it was kind of like my first time kind of experiencing them. And then on the right there, that is part of a map station doing songbird banding. What I'm holding there is indigo bunting. And that was with Dr. Mary McClung out of Hendrix College. And looking back, this experience was so valuable to me, because not only did I get to apply what I learned in school, but I learned that the biologists, it's not a 40-hour work week job. They're doing more every week than what you see, and they put a lot of blood and sweat into it, which really left a mark on me. I don't know if they realize that. I wanted to thank Alex Lane for being my supervisor and being out there and teaching me, Alex Zachary, all the other biologists out there, and just for the Game and Fish for putting this on. So I'll take any questions.
Let me hear a quail whistle.
Hey, I'm a little parched, That's about it.
Did you hear any?
That at Gallic Creek, no, but at Ed Gordon, there's quite a bit. So,
Well, good.
yes, sir.
Sounds like you had a well-rounded experience this
Yes,
summer.
sir. I got to do a lot, and it was definitely different from what I expected. Exceeded my expectations.
That's awesome.
I'm having deja vu with some sort of hoot owl that we hadn't this happened before?
Full of bird sounds.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Well, thank you again. My first year on the commission, Ford Overton was the chairman, and he had one meeting where we were in and out of here in 47 minutes. I'm going for the record sometime this year, but it won't be today. All right, now Director Booth.
All right, good morning, everybody. Good to see y'all yet again in this auditorium. Thank you for our visitors that came this morning and interns. It's been great to see y'all around the halls and out in the field over the past 8 weeks. And as happy as we are that you had a good experience, one of the reasons we do this internship program is because we hope we see you again, not as an intern, but as an employee. And so we look forward to seeing y'all in the future. Want to just recognize a few things that have gone on within the agency since last month and really underscore the immense amount of work and important work that this agency continues to do every single day. Oftentimes when people think of 4th of July, they think about what they're going to do with their families, how they're going to take some extra time off from work to go fishing maybe even some extra plans to stay indoors in the air conditioning. But for the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, when we think about 4th of July, we think about one of the most demanding weekends that we have for boating safety. That obviously entails our enforcement division. And I wanted to recognize the incredibly hard work that they put in over a very busy holiday weekend with Operation Dry Water. 121 of our officers were engaged actively on the water over the 4th of July weekend. These 121 officers put in a remarkable 2,400 hours of public safety work that weekend. They contacted over 3,600 boats on the water that weekend, making contact with over 11,000 boaters. They made a staggering 23 arrests for boating while under the influence of alcohol. with the highest BAC being 0.21. In doing so, they issued 188 citations and 346 warnings. What's most important about that weekend is that while we did have a few building-related accidents on our waters during 4th of July weekend, there was not a single fatality. So thank you to our enforcement division for not only the work that y'all put in, but devoting well over half of your entire division and the officers to make sure that our Kansans and our visitors had a safe and enjoyable 4th of July weekend. In addition to enforcement, I also want to recognize our fiscal division. Everybody knows in state government that July 1st is our Happy New Year. All right, well, for all the work that we have to get done on a 365-day fiscal year, a lot of that culminates in late June. So for all the work that goes on in the field, there's normally an invoice right behind it, and I want to thank Emily Shoemate and her leadership and her tremendous team in fiscal for the hard work that they put in the last part of June to make sure that we maximize our agency's budget. Now, oftentimes when people are in July or maybe June, they're thinking about 4th of July, which is fine. But for our agency, a lot of our biologists, our wildlife management division team, and our fisheries team is worried about what's going to happen in the fall. There's an immense amount of work going on, regardless of whether it's 81 like it is today or 101 like it was last week, putting in food plots, banding geese, banding wood ducks, getting ready for dove fields. And we know that our hunting season, what we consider our 4-month Super Bowl, is right around the corner. So thank you to Luke Naylor and to our professionals within Wildlife Management Division for putting in a lot of sweat and a lot of hard work to make sure that we deliver to our Kansans what they should rightfully expect. Want to congratulate 2 of our agency staff, Aaron and Michelle, for their awards that they received last night at our Private Landowners Awards Banquet. It was a tremendous opportunity for us to recognize the passion for conservation that many Arkansans have throughout Arkansas, as they join arm in arm with us to try to turn the page in conservation and on our conservation challenges through conservation on private lands. Also want to recognize Mary Beth for making the internship program so successful. We can see the passion in a bunch of young eyes out in the crowd today, but much like you recognize mentors throughout the agency, we have to recognize you and your education team for making sure that this experience serves them well and stays with them for a very long time. I also want to recognize Representative Shad Pierce and Representative Jeremy Wooldridge. They came to our committee day yesterday. And everybody knows that these meetings are always open to the public, and anytime we have members of the public that come, we always welcome them. We're always glad to see them, but it was extra special to have 2 members of the General Assembly with us yesterday, and we certainly hope to see them back soon. Lastly, I want to give the warmest possible welcome on behalf of the agency staff to our newest commissioner, Commissioner Colwell. I've known Chris for some time, and I cannot think of not only a better fit to be a commissioner, but a better fit to be a commissioner at this time in the agency. I've said for over 3 years now that as a young man, I marveled at the Arkansas outdoors. Absolutely marveled at it. That's what led me to apply for this job. Watching the natural wonders that we have in Arkansas has simply left an indelible imprint on me as a young man that I carried with me into this job. But the marvel that I have seen more than anything else in this job is the marvel that I've had at our staff for not just the work that they put in so selflessly to advance conservation in Arkansas, marveled at the high regard that they're held in with other states, and to see their sole driving passion purely be to left things better than we found it has been unforgettable for me, and I know that it will be for you too, Commissioner. Now, I would be remiss if I did not point out that Harley's in the crowd this morning. Harley's 10, which is salient for me because I have an 11-year-old at home and an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old at home. And there's no way for me to look into the future, Harley, and predict what even the next year holds, let alone the next 7 years of your dad's tenure here. But what I can say is that we're going to ask a lot of them, all right? And the people of Arkansas are going to ask a lot of them. And I know that your dad is up for the challenge. But I do know, because my 3 little ones at home tell me the same, that oftentimes for all that we're going to ask of him, you're going to feel that too, buddy. And so I ask that you remember, and if you're 10 now, that means you'll be 17 when he's done, which is awesome because you will get to remember everything that he gets to do. So over the next 7 years, we are so glad that he's here. And I ask that you never forget that your dad is doing this for the same reason that I'm doing this, and that the others are doing it here, and that the agency staff does it. It's to leave things better than we found it, because that's what this place is all about.
Well said, Director. Well, now we come to the point of our meeting where we go into our committee meeting notes and reports. And at this time, first up, Vice Chairman Anne Marie Doremus, give us the Budget Committee report.
Thank you, Chairman Neely. Good morning, everybody. Budget Committee met yesterday, and we had one discussion item, and we had a financial status report from Emily Shoemate, who always does a wonderful job taking a deep dive into our budget. There were no action items, no new business, no old business, and we were adjourned.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Doremus. Next, Commissioner Finley, Chair Regulations. Would you please give us that report?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. We met yesterday, had no discussion items. We had one action item, the 2024 regulation clarification approval by Luke Naylor. The item received a due pass by the committee. We had one item of new business in order to allow for the full 30 days since the proposed regulation clarifications were filed with the Secretary of State and posted on their website in June. A special commission meeting will be held Thursday, July 25th at 10 a.m. in the AGFC headquarters in the Director's Boardroom to discuss the Commission's approval of these regulation clarifications. A quorum of 4 commissioners will be required to take action on this item. Participation by the commissioners can be either in person or virtual. There was no old business, and we were adjourned.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. And next, Commissioner Tappan, Chair Property Management Committee.
Yes, sir, Chairman. We did have a meeting yesterday and contained 2 action items. Ben Batten presented a cooperative agreement with Game and Fish Foundation to allow multiple access points and those projects to complete that. That item received a due pass by the committee. Austin Booth also presented a request to remove a weapon from inventory, and that item was awarded to the retired Chairman Stan Jones, and that item received due pass by the committee. There was no new business. We had no old business. However, I should note that after adjournment of the committee, we heard staff and many leaders of the agency present project updates, which were outstanding. I wish we would have had more time to hear, but it was the crux of the major projects going on in 2025 fiscal year, and I thought that our leadership did a wonderful job in presenting those. Thank you. That's all.
Yes, they did, and thank you for those comments, Commissioner Tappan. Next, we move to commission items that were brought before the commission for business. First, item 5A in the AGFF agreement, access area projects. Ben Batten, you have the floor.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, Director, and everybody present this morning. I'm very happy to be here for this particular item. As I was able to give some background to the committee, for at least the last 18 months, we have been, as an agency, focusing significantly more effort on trying to provide above and beyond access area amenities by working with partners around the state. And one of the first really big fruit to come to bear is that the Walton Family Foundation has agreed to come alongside us on 4 projects in Northwest Arkansas, 2 on the Kings River, 1 on the Illinois River, and 1 on the White River, where we're going to provide some really exciting access area improvements. They are providing up to $738,000 to make this happen. And for the agency, it makes sense for this to flow and for us to work with our foundation to move this money and work on these projects. And so what I have in a minute order is a request for the commission to give permission to the director on behalf of the commission to sign a project partner agreement with the foundation to complete these projects.
Thank you. Commissioner Tappan, was this approved by property management?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, yes, it was approved, and the committee gave unanimous support.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the request. No second is necessary. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you.
Next, item 5B, inventory removal award. Director Booth, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. I present today for your consideration a minute order to remove from inventory the service weapon of former Chairman Stan Jones.
Okay, thank you, Director. Commissioner Tappan, was this approved by property management?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, it received unanimous
I have a
approval.
motion to approve the request. No second necessary. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion's approved. Thank you, sir. Is there any new business to be brought before the commission? Is there any old business to be brought before the commission? Is there a motion to retire into executive session?
There is a motion for executive session.
Okay, I've got a motion. Need a second? Got a second? Commissioner Finley, all in favor? Aye. At this point, we will retire into executive session. Yes, sir. Purpose of this is to consider Austin Booth's salary increase, and we will be returning shortly.
Well, in the executive session, we did take action and approved an increase in the director's salary to fall within what was approved in the legislature session, which was 5% increase. So congratulations.
Thank you. With that, we will retire out of executive session. Do I have a motion? All right, second. All right, we are now out of executive session. There being no other business before the commission today, we again will.
Chairman, I think y'all need to have a vote here out of the session to make sure on the salary.
Okay, we voted back there, but we'll vote here formally.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move the legislative guidance recommended is our recommendation as well on the director's salary.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Before we wrap up, we always have each commissioner give some comments. We'll start down with Michelle. We'll work our way back this way.
All right, thanks, Commissioner Neely. I just really appreciated hearing from Peyton and Jackson and Daniel today. It's a nice way to start off the new year of the commission, thinking about the early career folks. It was very inspiring. Thank you.
Yeah, excuse me. I want to second that. I was so impressed with the public speaking skills that you guys showed, and you know, it started out really good, and I thought, man, there's no way to follow that up, and then all three of you were really good, so it was very intimidating for me, but very impressed. And then also just want to welcome Chris, and looking forward. Chris and I have known each other for a long time, so very excited that he's on board, and looking forward to the next 6 years for me. So we get to spend a lot of time together, and couldn't be happier, and really looking forward to it. Although I don't know how to say it. Is Blake Edens going to be here every month? Do we have to deal
I didn't
with
know
that?
he was coming.
Okay, just making sure.
Mr. Tappan?
Mr. Chairman, I've got a little bit of a story. It'll take a minute, but there's a point to it. You know, we have a little bit of fun every now and then when talking about entertainment, what we've been watching. Commissioner Finley always gives me good Netflix series, and he talks about this Clarkson Farm. Hey, it's all GP rated stuff. Clarkson Farm, you know, this former investment banker that's gone out and developing his property, and I think I was talking to Dr. Michelle Evans-White about that, and how they're commenting often on there about the loss of insect species. And I said, you know, I noticed the same thing on my farm. There literally are fewer and fewer insects, which so many of our species feed off of. And she presented the most awesome report that scientifically there is huge documentation about globally the decline of insect species. You know, I'm not going to go on further or diatribe of what we can do, but I'll tell you, let me correlate it to last night. You know, that was an outstanding event organized by so many people, and I want to applaud all those that were involved in that. But, you know, the other core takeaway from that is think of all these projects that are preserving species, preserving insects, pollinators, by that group of people last night, and what we heard from that go on and benefit our so many species in our environment in so many ways. I just can't give enough credit to those landowners and what we saw and the example that they set for many, many others to do those types of work. So thanks.
Well said. Vice Chair Doremus?
Well, first off, thank you to our staff for an amazing night last night with the Private Lands Awards Banquet. That is the best one that I've been to, and they've all been great. They just keep on getting better. So great night to honor those folks who put in all this hard work and dedication on their own land. And also great meeting yesterday, Mr. Chairman, talking about all these projects that we have going on. And Mr. Chairman, I think you'll agree with me. You know, we've talked for so many years about the importance of the construction at the Lone Oak Hatchery. and redoing it. And I never thought that I would see us turning dirt out there while I was on the commission. And now, looking forward, we're almost done with the project. So that's going to be huge for our state, huge for our anglers, and very, very excited for that to wrap up. Jason Miller and his team just do a phenomenal job out there, so that's something to look forward to. And Chris, welcome to the AGFC family. All these projects that I'm talking about that are wrapping up, that's only just the beginning. We have so much more in the future, and you get to be front row for it. So I'm excited for you, and I'm excited to serve with you.
You know, one thing we forgot to tell Commissioner Caldwell is that when this meeting's over, you get to go with the colonel, and there's tasing and rope climbing.
Did y'all not tell him about that? You got to get
The
tased.
rope climbing is really fun. Pepper spray, the full.
You're allowed
His son can
You
shoot.
can delegate.
I
tell you what we got to do
somewhere.
though. We got to charge admission and make it a fundraiser for the
Oh,
foundation.
yeah.
Maybe
Harley,
tase
you
a
get to do
commissioner.
the tasing.
Any good politician raise some money.
Learn how to raise money off of it.
There's a zip line in there somewhere too, so don't forget about that.
I'll save that for JD to teach me.
All right, Mr. Finley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll echo the other comments, and it's been a great week for the AGFC. You know, you look around and see the great things that happen. I started early this week with our education up in Mountain Home to take them to the next level in our education program for our outdoors program, and we had tremendous feedback from that and opportunities to sit down with Mary Beth and Spencer to talk to those folks and to elaborate more on how we can continue to improve that program in our schools around the state. And then, you know, hats off to our enforcement and all the folks in the AGFC up in North Central Arkansas, considering all the floods that we had yesterday. I mean, you know, they are always standing ready to be called in at any task and are always willing and able to help out, and tremendous assets to all those folks. And so it's always great to see the shining stars that we have. Back to Commissioner Tappan, just remember God made every insect for a reason, whether we like it or not. And some of those reasons are just to pester us.
I haven't figured the chigger out yet.
No, but we will. That's our first question at the pearly gates. That and how do we get here? The second thing, or last thing, is I don't want to just welcome Commissioner Caldwell, because this is not just your appointment. This is your family and your wife, as Ashley will find out, and Harley. This is as much of a commitment from you as others, and we certainly don't want that to go unnoticed, and for you to not be recognized for that, because it is long-standing, and but it's very rewarding. So welcome aboard. Happy to have you here. Know we're going to work well together for the next, I have 3 to go. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Jones.
Well, Chairman, first of all, I want to say wonderful that you're our new chairman. So congratulations on that, and also Anne Marie on our vice chairman. So we've got great leadership ahead of us. That's for sure. Chris, you know, a buddy of mine told me when I first got appointed, he said, "Well, why would you want to do that?" I said, "Well, you know, I love Arkansas. I want to do it." He goes, "Well, there's only going to be a month of glamour, and this will be 7 years of work." And I called him back after the month. I said, "No, you were wrong. There was 1 day of glamour in 7 years of work." So, you know, it's all about your family, but you'll enjoy it, and it's unbelievable. Every year you get into it, you love it even more and more. I do want to say something about the presentations yesterday. We've heard about CWD and talked about it, and the staff did a great job and so many, but Jen really put it in a way on the CWD that I thought was absolutely amazing yesterday, talking about the folded prions, and I have a much, much better idea of what's going on with that. So I thought that was very, very important. The mentors, I want to say hats off to you all. That's so important to the students. It changes people's lives, and that's one of the best things you can ever give them. And last thing is Commissioner Tappan, those insects that you're missing, they're all down in Gillette, Arkansas, called mosquitoes. Okay, and we have no issue with the number of them down there. That's for sure.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Caldwell.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, first off, I want to say some thank yous. And first and foremost, I want to thank the governor for this opportunity. She told me not to screw it up, so no pressure there. Also, I want to thank you, commissioners. I count myself fortunate that I knew pretty much each and every one of you before this, and I've got to spend different time, particularly outdoors, hunting and fishing with some of you. And y'all been so welcoming and so supportive to me, and particularly to my son and my daughter and my wife. And I just thank y'all for welcoming us into the family. It really is a family. I've always heard that. I've been in this room many a time, sitting on that side, even as a young man. I actually think I took hunter education in this room 35 years ago, probably a long time ago. I think Wildman taught it actually in here. And so getting to grow up around this, and I also want to take a moment to thank all the former commissioners that have reached out, Sheffield Nelson, Brett Morgan, Steve Cook, Andrew Parker, and a few others, just to welcome me into this fraternity. And I do not take it lightly, and it's such an honor and privilege, but even more so now, 10 days in, that it feels such a momentous occasion to be here today. And to echo y'all, the staff has also been amazing, particularly some crazy travel I had this week and getting me all squared away for today. Jana and Clay, Ms. Fleming, everybody has really helped me. And yesterday, I can't, you've heard from everybody else, but yesterday was so amazing. I know it was a very, very long day, but it was, you can see the passion that the staff puts into their job. And so I look forward to the next 7 years of getting to work with them on those projects. I already mentioned it, but I will mention again, Wildman in the back. When I was a kid, I told this to Trey the other day, that he was like an idol. He was bigger than life when you were a kid growing up around the Game and Fish Commission, and so it means a lot to be here. Matter of fact, whenever my son kills or catches something, he generally says, "Text a picture to Wildman." And so if you go back in our thread, it's a picture of Harley and dead animals. So thank you for being here. But to my family and my wife and son and my daughter who's not with us today, they share me with a lot of entities and people, and so they're very aware of the sacrifices that we make for our careers in this state. But I cannot think of a better team to have behind me as I embark on this. And so thank you guys. Thank you, Harley. Look forward to sharing this with you. And, with that, Mr. Chairman, just thank you. And I look forward to this next year under your leadership.
Well, thank you. We look forward to a great year. Yesterday made me really proud. I was talking to Anne Marie earlier. I guess being the oldest commissioners here, a lot of the stuff that we got to see yesterday, the pictures of the Joe Hogan hatchery and all the work in the field, were coming together. Projects that we approved 3, 4, some even 5 years ago. These were projects that were finally developing. Hurricane, all that work started many commission meetings ago, and we're seeing the fruition of it. So it's kind of almost like a dad watching a kid. You get to see something happen and coming along, and this project finally is getting there. Projects at Game and Fish are kind of like in my business, the timber business. It's long range stuff. The harvest from a seedling is 30 years out, so I'm used to long range stuff. And it's very gratifying to see all the work that we did come together. Yesterday was a great day. Jen, can't thank you enough. As Commissioner Jones said, that was a layman's term CWD talk. One of the best I've heard. Really liked that slinky look, because that helped us understand what a prine really looks like, folded back on itself. Great work that you're doing, and look forward to hearing more in the months to come with that. Again, congratulations last night to all of the award winners that we had out there. One thing I noticed they all had in common it's just a passion and a love for the land and their projects and pride they had. You know, when we saw their testimonies, you could just see their pride in their project. So it got me to thinking, how do we instill that pride, that land ethic that we want to see in our landowners? And I think that might be a challenge for us as we think about from our education division, Mary Beth, as we look to the students and the young kids, the future generation of our Kansans that will one day own this land. How do we instill in them the love of the land, I want to make it better conservation attitude? So those are the challenges that we face here at the commission, and as being the point of the spear for conservation. But can be more proud of Mary Beth and our education division, where they are, just seeing this mentoring for these students right here for this summer. We already see that work ethic and that love of the land and making things better come out. We heard that in the testimony today. So kudos to you and our education division. Again, it's been a great week. We're off to a good start, a great start for Y25, and look forward to working with each and every one of y'all. And with that, if there's no further business, we're adjourned.